What's going on, YouTube? I go by the name of Boston Daily 91. We had something sent to us. It's called Inside a Multi-Million-Dollar Gaming Hacker Ring, video done by Upper Echelon Gamers. Really good YouTube channel, so go over there to make sure to check it out. He almost didn't want to do this video, but his community voted for him to do this video, so that's why it happened. I'm gonna leave that original video linked, but we're just bringing it over here because it has a lot of good information that I think people need to see over on this side of things. So with that being said, I hope you sit back, relax, enjoy the video. It is going to be a banger. I really enjoyed this video.
Okay, today is going to be a bit of a strange video, and to be completely honest, I was actually very conflicted about whether or not I should even post it. On the one hand, it's important for people to know about these things because the landscape of PC gaming, as it pertains to hackers and cheating programs, is unlikely to change when no one is aware, but on the other, I will be showcasing a website that sells undetectable cheats to hundreds of thousands of people, and has been doing so for over 10 years. The strange thing is that this website exists almost completely outside the mainstream gaming community consciousness, and yet it has nearly 300,000 members and sells functional, mechanically undetectable, at this point in time, cheats to the tune of millions in profit, suspected, that's my estimation, for over 60 different games. I want to clarify that before posting this video, I issued a poll to the community and made my concerns very, very clear. The overwhelming majority of people voted in favor of posting it anyway. The ratio was nearly 90 to 10, I believe, so here I am listening to that feedback. I also want to add that this is not an insignificant operation. Just 4 months ago, the BBC reported that a joint Chinese authority task force in partnership with Tencent, the gaming conglomerate, took down the largest video game cheats website to date in history, which has accrued something like $76 million in its lifespan. Artificial Aiming, the website I am discussing today, might very well be of that same caliber and size. All of this starts with a source. Deep inside Artificial Aiming, a source decided to come forward and basically push me towards the website as a possible video topic. They had approached a couple of other creators as well, I believe, but it never really went anywhere. Their motivation was exposure, and since they were able to provide me with significantly more technical information than I would have been able to uncover alone, I agreed to take a look. Here's the site, Artificial Aiming. The funny thing is, this website, despite having almost 300,000 members and 60 active games, over 60 actually, with daily forum and purchase activity continuing unabated, is almost completely invisible post-2012. Why might that be? I have absolutely no idea. I can't find any major media publications covering it. I can't find even the slightest acknowledgement by developers or publishers that it exists at all. I can't find a single thing about this website, even though it is an easily searchable forum, indexed by Google with solid SEO and traffic hooks on top of that, plus the fact that they have an actual support department, a team of staff, and, again, beating a dead horse here, nearly 300,000 members. Oh, and they have a Facebook page, a Twitter page, and other social media pages where they blatantly post about what it is they do and exactly what it is they sell. Now, more recently, for the later months of 2020 and the early half of 2021 at least, it appears that the top leadership for the website is significantly less active. But that does not change the fact that the cheats are still operational for over 60 multiplayer titles while payments are processed and cheat packets dispersed. As an interesting side note, on their short-lived podcast, 3 of the hackers behind this website came out with a detailed analysis on why Shroud is, in their words, not mine, very obviously cheating, end quote. And they discussed how easy it would be to contract a team like them for stream-proof, undetectable mechanical hacks in games like Apex Legends, a game they sell active cheats for, and I've seen footage of them, they are currently undetectable, to this very day.
With him playing Apex, and he snapped on some guy, like, very easily, and then with him realizing that he snapped, he corrected himself. It happened several times. And then as soon as he does that cheat, and when he realizes his mistake, he starts playing differently. His posture, the way he plays is a bit different. He feels like he got caught doing a snap, so he's playing a bit more safer, you could say. And it happens very frequently as a cheater.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who claim, he just flicks, or yeah, he's got a good fucking on setup, he's got this and that. But let's be honest, when you see, 180 flip around and aim on somebody and insta kill him within like a second, like all that, it's not really possible. I understand if he hits the first shot, but then the
we'll see another thing, like, well, one of the clips I saw of him in Apex Legends where he's lighting someone up as they're ziplining up straight up one of those balloons. That, the way he locked in, the way his mouse followed him up, leading the target, and the way it almost bounced a little is identical to the one I use, and the way that it'll bounce when leading that target.
Yeah, I saw that clip too. Yeah, I mean, I tried that, like playing it legit, and you can get a few shots, but he perfectly aligns it with the zip line and gets all the shots. Kind of like ruler next to his fucking mouse. And, oh, okay, I'm just gonna do some geometry real quick, maybe. But yeah, it's kind of dodgy.
Here's where it gets a bit more technical. Easy Anti-Cheat, Vanguard, BattleEye, etc., the most common anti-cheat services in major video games right now, they are all useless because the cheats from artificial aiming have ring 0 access to your PC and use that to create a ghost copy of your operating system, which scrambles hardware IP and also injects right into the anti-cheat program as it runs, compromising the software. I've received a much more detailed analysis about how the PatchGuard driver of the cheat software compromises almost all known anti-cheat systems in existence, but the important factor is that the ring 0 access given to this program is capable of breaching the existing countermeasures in what is effectively an undetectable way. That means that when someone is using this software, they have highly customizable hacking tools, ESP, aimbot hacks, among others, which if implemented properly cannot be detected by the anti-cheat programs in AAA and AA gaming right now, and allow them to hack with impunity for as long as they want. The only countermeasure that I know of is manual banning in an instance where the player rage hacks, if you will, which means that they go so far above and beyond the safety bracket of plausible deniability, their hacking is then indisputably obvious. That allows game administrators or certain automated programs to detect them, but that is purely a function of user error and/or overindulgence. The cheats themselves are effectively mechanically undetectable. While researching, my source showed me that a previously unupdated copy of Apex Legends, and this is not the only game, but it was one of them, could be opened, then allowed to update, and he had not updated this in a very long time, and he had absolutely no concern whatsoever that there would be a patch or a hotfix or anything of the sort capable of breaking the functionality of these cheats. And he had no concern whatsoever that his account would be banned. Like, literally none. He could hack the game without remorse as much as he wanted and face zero consequences. So establishing that this is a paid hacking forum with cheats for over 60 major titles, earning most likely tens of millions of dollars over its lifespan in the process, that can, and does, also sell a hardware IP scrambling service through their software, which circumvents the most powerful anti-cheat countermeasure in existence right now that I know of, why is it so obviously searchable but so puzzlingly low profile? One of the only instances where the website crosses a more mainstream radar sweep, kind of, is in 2012, where PlanetSide 2 developer Sony Online Entertainment, later renamed to Daybreak Studios, had a direct head-to-head confrontation with the website through their CEO, John Smedley. John Smedley was, shall we say, rather aggressive when it came to hackers in the community. Aside from going above and beyond to find them and force them to apologize publicly in certain situations, he also leveled personal threats about going to the home address of the leader for artificial aiming, and, well, there were threats involved, let's put it that way. This was beyond the pale, in my opinion, and his overly confrontational and extremely personal approach to the issue might very well have resulted in a subsequent hack by the well-known collective Lizard Squad, responsible for a number of high-profile attacks, including a Christmas Day takedown of both Microsoft and Sony simultaneously. This hack seemed to push John Smedley into stepping down completely as CEO of Daybreak, though he would not be gone from the industry for long. For our purposes right now, though, that's inconsequential, other than to highlight that there may in fact be a connection between Lizard Squad and artificial aiming. I'm not sure on specifics, but what I did find pointed to the possibility that one of the leadership at the website could also be a Lizard Squad member. And this might be a tenuous connection at best, which explains why Daybreak was targeted so specifically in the aftermath of Smedley's tirade against hackers in the ecosystem, but I'm not sure. That might be entirely incorrect. It's a fair bit of speculation based on loose affiliations or connections, but it's an incredibly interesting topic to me, so I thought I would throw it out there. There were also archived Reddit threads where some users claim that the real reason artificial aiming stopped selling PlanetSide 2 hacks, contrary to their official stance that the game was dead and they therefore could not justify continuing the service, was because this direct aggression ramped up security from Sony Online Entertainment. I'm not an expert, I can't tell either way, but when so many other games are able to be breached with ease, it seems a bit unlikely that the resulting removal of PlanetSide 2 hacks from the website in 2012 had anything to do with technical ability, and probably had more to do with relative aggression coming from the developers. Lending credence to this, one of their current hacking packages is aimed at Anthem, and is set to be discontinued, I believe, owing to the fact that the game is completely dead and no longer worth supporting. How many games right now have a hacker problem? Think about that. How many major PvP titles are plagued by scenarios where it feels like every single match has a cheater and every single gunfight is possibly compromised? How many games are grappling with this problem actively every day but seem to have no luck or success? The answer is too many. Anti-cheat services are being rendered null and void because they get compromised at a foundational level. Sites like Artificial Aiming are making a fortune selling these cheats to players, and those players can even circumvent hardware IP bans with an additional fee. On July 5th of 2021, very recently, a new undetectable console hack was discovered and ousted on Twitter by a group called Anti-Cheat Police Department. The new hack used machine learning and AI programming to provide auto-aim on console and was touted, in their promotional trailer at least, as a first-in-the-world, any-platform undetectable hack. That might be news for Xbox and PlayStation, but currently undetectable hacks have been dominating the PC market for quite some time. This new machine learning auto-aim was promptly deleted completely soon after it was made public, with a statement appearing in its place that claimed the author got a letter from Activision Blizzard and never intended to do anything illegal. So at their request, and this really does stink of a legal battle or some sort of threat being issued, a cease and desist, they obviously found this guy and pressured him. So at their request, it was being taken down. Everything got purged. The entire website and Discord server have been actively deleted, and that was the end of this new undetectable cheating program. Obviously, there will be flaws in any program. What little I could find pertaining to artificial aiming at all post-2012 came from competing hacker websites or forums, one of which, SethYaws.com, had a lengthy thread about how AA were scammers and thieves. It's hard to judge responses like that on my part, at least, seeing as the most prominent feedback for any group or company will almost always skew negative. Someone who has a fine, mediocre, or passable experience will not be motivated to go vocalize that online, which leads to the most obvious and dominant feedback, usually trending towards those with something passionate to say, which is then almost always negative. Even so, just checking back after a 24-hour period in the span of one day researching this topic, over 300 new users signed up for the website. This would suggest it's not all that secret, and that it's widely known enough to receive additional users at that kind of pace. But when trying to find any sort of indication that the website, post-2012, had been referenced or discussed in any capacity by any publication, developer, or agency whatsoever, I found basically nothing. All of this leads me to a sort of crossroads, and I'm not exactly sure which path to take. On the one hand, I detest cheating in games because it devalues the intrinsic appeal of a level playing field, but on the other, I don't know if I can actually blame people with the technical know-how to actually create things like this and then leveraging it for profit. I would certainly, beyond any shadow of a doubt, blame or disapprove of those who choose to buy the cheats. And obviously developers and publishers would have a somewhat obvious desire to prevent the software from being sold in the first place, despite the fact that they probably make significantly more money as a result of hackers buying software, getting banned, and then buying another copy of the game over and over. But I really don't know where I stand as clearly when it comes to people skilled enough to subvert gaming anti-cheat protections and then leveraging that for personal gain. In my opinion, a lot of the responsibility for protecting player experience falls on the developer. However, as so many gaming communities get overrun by hackers and cheaters, thereby utterly destroying the experience for anyone playing legitimately as they multiply, and they are very prolific, it becomes important to showcase why that's happening, where it comes from, and how the process works. Also, I'm not really outing anyone. The pseudonyms for leadership on the website, Harui and Helios, are not tied to any real-world identity that I could find. Even if they were, there's no way that I would say it publicly ever. And I'm more interested in actually having some sort of interview with them than anything else. Covering games and saying, I dislike those loot boxes, or the monetization system sucks over and over and over again, while it just happens every single day despite your complaints, it gets old really, really fast. I don't see the appeal as much anymore. I'll still call that stuff out when it's necessary, absolutely, of course, but I am so much more intrigued by the questions of why. For instance, I am considering an attempt at interviewing the hacker John Yu, who has basically destroyed the Titanfall franchise. It might be risky for me to do, at least personally. It's a whole new bracket of coverage with a whole different brand of people, but it's so much more interesting than YouTuber drama or whining about SJWs on Twitter, and I did my fair share of that, rest assured, but I never felt good about it after. Digging into the more unknown aspects of gaming, talking with people who have wild or intricate stories to tell, interviewing those who actually deeply impact the space around them, that seems like it will be intellectually stimulating. Covering things that not as many other creators do, that's what I find to be appealing now, and this felt like a step in the right direction. Through the process for this, all of it, I gained access to the actual software, the programs, the launcher, login credentials, all sorts of different things. It's an area I need to become significantly more well-versed in during the near future, and it's highly intriguing to me, but that's where I drew the line and decided, no, I should not be posting the actual code for their cheats publicly to 500,000 YouTube subscribers, even though there's built-in countermeasures and there's a system in place and security that they have. So it's not like I could just give it to everyone for free. Not that I would even want to, because that would destroy the economy, the player ecosystem, etc., etc. It's like a really complicated and murky topic, to say the very least. But I decided no, posting their code, their actual code for the cheats publicly to nearly 500,000 people was not the right answer. I'm not trying to make enemies like that. I'm trying to report on things that people will watch and find to be interesting. Artificial Aiming is a puzzlingly resilient website. For over a decade, it has operated with a massive list of what appear to be sophisticated and very obviously functional cheats, some of which were shown in the background of this very video. I did not gather this footage myself. It was provided to me by a source within the community, and I have blurred all necessary information to protect their identity, which I will always do for sources coming to me with stories. That just seems like the logical and only option if I'm going to go down this road. The website requires subscription payments to access their content. They provide, and not small payments at that. They provide streamer-safe cheat programs that obfuscate anything incriminating so that streamers as well are able to participate the same way as any other paying gamer. And the enormous member list is still rapidly growing, by the way, and their number of subscribers, the sheer volume of them, would indicate that it is a very large player in the space, in the online cheat selling space. All factors combined, it was a topic I thought well worth covering in a world where hacking is only ever increasing on PC platforms, and players are often left wondering how they lost or how it's possible that they just got outplayed. The answer to that isn't always, he was better than me. The answer to that is all too often, very often, he cheated. Destiny 2 trials and PvP playlists, Call of Duty, multiple modes, multiple cheats, Apex Legends, functional ESP and aimbot, plus a whole bunch more for dozens of separate titles. Some of these games, like Destiny 2 in particular, are struggling very hard to combat those problems, and they aren't succeeding. And unless they redefine their entire security approach, they probably won't be able to. I wanted to discuss all of it because, like I said, I find this stuff more and more interesting as time goes on. Who knows, in a tug of war that looks like one side is decidedly winning right now, maybe it will shift back to a more reasonable balance in the near future.